maintaining our buildings, parks, islands, ordinance cuts. This would be a great addition to our fleet.
Thank you. Council Lynch.
I move to approve the purchase of an Exmark zero-turn mower from Wine Gardens of Livonia, Michigan, under state contract for $10,959.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Witt. Further discussion from the table.
Mayor.
Councilmember Karafotis.
Can you say that one more time about the state rebate?
Through state contract, the savings is over $4,200.
So normally it would be $14,000 or something.
Yeah, closer to 50,
And do we normally buy all our equipment from Wine Guard?
since they have the state contract.
Okay. Do other places in our area have that or no?
I think Wayne Lawn Garden, but we wanted to pursue getting an Exmark mower and they stocked them, so we just went to Wine Gardens.
That's all I had.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? General public? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 4 is the 2023 right of first refusal NSP purchase. Mr. Miller.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Tonight before us is the NSP purchase. That's a neighborhood stabilization program that is here where the city has the right to purchase property from the county prior to it going to a general open bid of the public. And these are tax foreclosed properties, and it's done yearly. Last year, though, we did not do any because of COVID. It was kind of it delayed, shall we say. So there were no evictions or anything during that time. This year, we did get a list of 5 properties, commercial property, a vacant lot, and 3 homes. Part of our process is that we review each of the structures. If they're occupied, we do not exercise the option. That is done by separate entity, not involving the city. This is the only one that kind of met our criteria, a vacant structure. It's dilapidated, causing problems for the neighbors, those kinds of things. And it's our opportunity to actually purchase a property. And then if you can recall, we have a program set up with HP Snap and a contract where once we receive the property, we'll have to go through the process to sell the property then to HP Snap. Also, HP Snap will take the property and do a full renovation on the property. If you happen to go by Bach, you will see, if you did go by, kind of a mess with a lot of trees and overgrowth. There's also a significant addition was put on the structure. But luckily for us, at least, and for HP Snap going forward, the addition did have most of the inspections, footing, foundation, those kinds of things. So it's structurally sound, but the interior is in poor condition also. So we're looking forward to at least moving forward with this one property. And we have to, again, purchase it from Wayne County. Once we receive the deed, then we'll start the process to sell the property to HP Snap. But until that time, I do need your approval to at least start the purchasing process. In the entire tax foreclosure process, I just want to let you know and everyone else that at any moment, the homeowner has the right to redeem it up until the last minute. So we're exercising our right. If no one does redeem it, then we will be able to get the property. So, thank you.
Thank you. Motion is in order.
Mayor.
Councilmember Witt.
I move to approve the purchase of 29940 Bach from Wayne County in the amount not to exceed $55,505.10.
Support.
Or from Councilmember Squires. Further comment from the table.
Question.
Mayor Pro Tem Dole.
Once we sell the house to HB Snap and they renovate it, are they required to sell the house or can they rent it?
They're required to sell the home, and it also has to be to an owner occupied. It can't be sold to a landlord.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Karafotis.
You said at any minute the homeowner, but you meant property owner because there's no one living in the house. currently,
Correct.
Okay. And do we buy that, do we sell that as a profit to them? Or it's just what we paid for it?
Correct. We in the law, the state legislature deemed that the cities cannot make any money on it, that we have to enter into a contract with a company that will renovate it and they will make the profit. Part of the positive portion of this, though, is that it will be a house that will be back on the tax rolls because we haven't had taxes in more than 3 years on the property. And we then can control that it won't be sold to a landlord, and it will be renovated properly with all the permits pulled. So our program is set. Unfortunately, we can't make the money. I would love to be able to do that, but we try to make sure that the renovation is done to code plus, meaning that they can't buy the cheapest doors, they can't buy the cheapest siding. Everything is done to a good, sturdy quality, something that we would all have in our own homes.
This is the same company we've used for the last couple of years, right?
Yes.
They renovated that house on Helen and it looks
They do a
unbelievable. It
fantastic
looks
job.
great. So I think that's a great thing for the neighborhood.
Any other comments?
Mayor?
Councilor
Yeah, it's
Sparks.
a wonderful program. I know we've had several of them in the past, and they do a beautiful, excuse me, a beautiful job. And as the clerk said, it brings in tax revenue after it's sold, and it's only sold to homeowners, somebody that's going to live in it, which is important. Thank you.
Any other comments from the general public? Ms. Faridor.
I also believe that they have a program, SNAP does, that it's middle to low income people that are allowed to purchase that home, which they renovate above and beyond. So a millionaire can't come in and scoop it up for his kids. It's for community to thrive as well as those people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Hunt.
Mr. Miller, when we're buying from Wayne County, is that not just the taxes that are due on them?
Yes, we're purchasing it for the back taxes.
There could,
And there's also liens, ordinance enforcement, all of that is what we're
Okay,
purchasing.
I was just wondering, 55 sounded like an awful lot for.
Anything that anything the property owner owned on it, we
What's
have, anything the property owner owned on it, they all get reimbursed. So that's where the money comes from.
Also, a mortgage could be
The
held.
more, okay.
Yeah.
I just thought it was the tax. I'm like, that was a lot of taxes for 3. Thank you.
any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Item 5. Public Service Credit Union designation of depository and remote payment acceptance. Mr. Marciniak.
Evening, Mayor and Council. Back in June, I was approached by Public Service Credit Union, which is a credit union down here in the old Kroger Plaza. They wanted to do had a interesting proposal. In the past, we had accepted remote payments at various places. Some people who have been here long enough will talk about paying their taxes at a drugstore in town. So they're going to start a program in order to receive our current water and tax payments. They have to be the current ones at the credit union. In order to do so, we would have to open an account at the credit union. Currently, they are not on our list of banks or financial institutions that we do business with. So before you tonight is a resolution to include them as such, as well as accepting remote deposits or remote payments for the water and tax bills. And how this would work is obviously we set up a regular account. Someone comes in, they pay it, they stamp it paid, give them a returned receipt with the stamped payment, and then they will directly put those funds into our account at Public Service Credit Union. We still will maintain our current bank accounts with our current financial institution, but occasionally we will sweep the money from those accounts and put them back into the city fund. So it would allow our customers, who already bank at Public Service Credit Union, to not have to do several things. They can take care of all their business at the Garden City branch and the Garden City branch only, as well as they have Saturday hours and things like that. So it's another opportunity, another way to get the current water and tax bills paid in the city. Any questions? And I thank you for your time.
Mayor,
Councilmember Karafotis.
Is there an additional fee to pay their
No,
resident?
there's not.
What does the credit union get out of it?
The only thing the credit union I could foresee that they get out of it is a business opportunity for
Get
more
more people
people to do business with. They're working to develop community relations throughout Garden City.
You've done a good job with that.
Is it only members of the credit union that can
No,
make
it's
the
not
payment?
for only
Okay.
members. So anybody can come into with their water bill. Any resident or water customer can pay there. It's not just for the current credit union members.
Council have any other questions? Okay, motion is in order.
Mayor,
Mayor Pro Tem Dole.
I move to approve the resolution of Public Service Credit Union as a depository and associated signatories, including remote payment of current water and tax payments by residents at the Garden City branch.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Karafotis. Further comment from the table? From the general public? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item 6, managerial audit. Mr. Dougherty.
All right, thank you, Mayor. This is a topic we've been discussing for some time. Based in the charter, it says that the city should every 5 years do a managerial audit, which is basically looking at some operations of a department, the purpose of trying to have better improved operations. The council last time discussed it of going to the mutual aid, auto aid runs discussion, do an evaluation after the council received the report regarding numbers of how many times our services leave the city as opposed to coming in. Council asked to possibly have that done as an audit, operational audit. Before you is a proposal from Plant Moran, who does our financial audits. They have a separate division that also does managerial audits. As you see, it is actually requesting for outlined projects that will not exceed $10,000. By our purchasing policy, this is something that wouldn't normally have to come to the council, but for discussion to move forward, I'd rather have the council discuss it one more time or choose another project. So it's up to the council.
Okay, motion is in order.
Mayor,
Councilmember Squires.
I move to approve an agreement with Plant Moran Consulting Firm to perform a managerial audit of the fire department's mutual aid and auto aid programs.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Lynch. Further discussion from the table.
Mayor,
Councilmember Karafotis.
is Plant Moran here to answer questions?
No, they are not. I don't.
And they weren't at the workshop that we brought this up either.
What's that?
They weren't at the workshop when we brought this up either.
Okay.
So, and I wasn't there. That was when I left early. So I just had some questions like, have they done one on the fire department before where it's mutual aid?
Well, I think as you see, I couldn't answer for that, but as you see what their project approach is just looking at the statistical review, the 5-year runs coming and going, and making recommendations that feel processes to be improved for the mutual aid. So, kind of unlike, I think, the building department request, which got really into processes of how they do everything. This is much more, and that's why it's a lower cost. It's more of a statistical analysis because we're understanding maybe some of the information that was given to us about the last mutual aid and auto aid was not maybe exactly correct because as we all noticed, we left the city a lot more than anybody came to us, and it should be somewhat balanced. So I don't know if this is I don't think this is a really deep audit.
It doesn't seem like it. It says it's all over the phone and all the information comes from you anyway.
Oh, it's going from the fire department, coming from me.
Well, it says you're the one in charge of it and that
Yeah, just
information
the,
comes from you.
just the contact.
And what is the end to this? I mean, we're not going to leave the mutual aid agreement.
No, but it might be able to tell us what's more, what would be a better system if we're going to Inkster 100 times more than they're coming to us.
We're still not leaving the agreement. So what
But
would
there might be
change?
ways to make it better for our residents.
I agree.
So,
But my question is, did we find out about that contract if we can even change it, regardless of what we do with this, before we even move forward? Did we find out if we can even do anything to that contract and change it?
Mutual aid agreement is just between the communities themselves. There is no,
More than the
there is no
communities, it's-
permanent stuck thing that you're
Right, but it's
You're
city,
forever.
state, federal, there's lots of community.
Yeah, but this is I don't,
It's a contract, so my question is, can we change the
Yes.
contract regardless of what it says?
I would believe we can, but that could be a
Know
question
that?
that could be asked because we have an agreement that we go to Inkster, just using Inkster as an example, they have basic life, we have advanced life. So when we go down to Inkster, we're bringing advanced wagon. If we're out at the town and they come in here, they're bringing less services. So that's a question of, I think I take your point of what do we do? I think we figure out if this is useful to the city or not. If our city is spending all of our resources to go to other cities, and then when we get a call here, we're bringing in someone from somewhere else. Westland has several stations, we have one. We spend a lot of time going to Westland compared to Westland coming to us. Why are the big dogs getting our services as opposed to us getting the
We need their
service?
services. We have to have help from someone else because we can't do it alone.
Only during the fire, the largest fire issues. But we're going to them to take care of their 4 stations and leaving our 1 station for waiting for someone to come back. I think, to me, that certainly warrants a question rather than just saying this is what we've done for all these years. Is it a good situation that we're stuck in at this
That's why
point?
I'm asking if we looked into that contract before we just say we're going to do an audit on it. Because if
Well,
it's something that we can't change, why would we spend $10,000?
You can always change any contract. I would say nothing is permanent that's stuck forever.
We
No,
haven't found that out. We haven't looked at that contract or found anything.
I would not believe that there's a permanent contract that we must service.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not an
everybody.
endless contract,
No.
but I'm just asking if we've looked into the contract for it to see exactly what we can change.
I think the question was what brought to the council was 96 calls going out of town, 4% of the calls coming into town. I think we have to look at the numbers. Is that correct? I was told it was not correct information that was given to us. So before we're even canceling a contract, the question is, what are the numbers that we're even discussing at this point? So the idea of this report is, where are we? What are the exact numbers? Is it a 50-50 or is it extreme 96-4? I think the information will decide what we're going to do for the future.
I have a
You
question.
have to investigate prior to making any decisions.
I know, I can still ask questions why we haven't looked into the contract before we spent $10,000. If we look into a contract and say, well, look, we could get out of this or we could change this, maybe we don't need to spend the $10,000. Or maybe we're going to find out this contract can't change for 3 years, or this contract changes and Garden City gets no help if we don't give any help. So again, finding out before we do this is what I'm asking.
We are very self-sufficient ourselves. It's when there's a 5-alarm fire, having other communities come in with extra trucks. That's the useful part. It's not necessarily extra ambulance work or even regular garage fires in our city. And I think that report is going to come out there once again. How many times are we helping compared to how many times they're coming to help us? But we're clearly self-sufficient to take care of our own
We're
city.
already short-staffed. I don't believe we're self-sufficient without help.
Oh,
At all.
I would not say that. No, I disagree.
Mayor Pro Tem Dold.
My question is just the data that they're going to be looking at, isn't that available to us already?
To a point.
So if you remember when I brought this up at the budget hearing, the issue was when we got the data, it was so skewed, and everybody there said maybe we should have Plant Moran look at this. And the issue was 96% of the time we were in other cities, and 4% of the time they were in Garden City. So upon speaking with the new chief, the now new chief, this could be a good tool to help him see where they're at, see where their strengths are, see if they need help in certain areas. It's not necessarily has anything to do with canceling a contract or altering a contract, but the numbers were so far off from what they probably really are that this was something that Plant Moran could nail for us relatively easily.
That's what I was asking. Does Plant Moran do this for fire departments, for mutual aid?
They do.
I mean, when we talked to them about the building department, they had never done a building department before.
No, but they do meet. It's an audit. It's a basic overall statistical audit. I don't think they're getting into the weeds very deep in this situation here. Information is there. I think it's more valid if we have an outside organization looking at the information itself than the city just coming back to say, we're good, because the information you already received was from city staff.
Well, this says it's only going to
That
be
may not
received
have
from
been-
city staff. It says it's going to be in-house
No.
information only.
As you mentioned, the new chief had some concerns of the information that was put together, and it came off our computer systems through HEMS and some other areas. This is not just somebody has a notebook and is just saying, here's 3. there is more deeper information that can be analyzed. So it's, when we say it's coming from the city, it's not literally us just writing it up. It's the actual mutual aid numbers that somehow didn't make it correctly back to the council for review. So besides this, as we're talking about managerial audit, the council has to decide on some project to do the managerial audit. So less than $10,000 on the managerial audit is probably an operational audit, is actually probably not a high dollar. But if we don't do this one, then the council would have to discuss coming up with another project. But either way, it's going to be probably in that range. We're probably not going to get much of an audit in-house for $3 to $4 or $5 grand. There's going to be a cost to this if we're going to follow through on this.
Yeah, I mean,
The
our last managerial audit, how, 10 or 13 years ago, we spent $13,000. I mean, that was.
25, wasn't it the original? Well, the last, for the building department, of course, the bids were 40,000, but
Right.
we said no to
That was
that.
13 years ago that we spent. Okay.
So just, it's really, this question, I guess, is up to the council. Is this the audit that you want to move forward on, or is there something else the council would like to discuss to audit something else, operational?
Well, I'm still just, I'm not exactly clear. I know the question was asked, what is the end result? What are we looking at to get out of this audit? Because it does appear on the surface that it's either going to be that we remain in mutual aid or we opt out.
I could, no, because depending on the stats that we actually get, it could give our new chief some more information to improve this area over this area. It could help, we're good at this, but we need more help with this. It's going to give out some more, I guess, more accurate numbers as to, again, how many times do we leave the city and leave it for another city to.
Right, but that's going back to mutual aid.
It's right. It's
but
not going to
that's-
change that mutual aid.
Plus, it breaks down fire versus EMS. It breaks down everything, all the different types of runs.
I guess I'm
How
just
much
not
time are we
clear how
spending
it's
on
going to
fire
help.
versus
How it will help the fire department decide that this area needs improvement.
knowing how much runs they go and what are EMS, which are fire? That helps a lot. I mean, and so that was the problem when we saw the data. If you remember how skewed it was, we were all kind of taken aback at the numbers. So that's why we asked for them to tell us.
Yeah, I understand the data was, but I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. You're saying that this audit's going to come back and it'll help the new chief say, hey, you know what, we need to improve this area of what we're doing in the department. I'm not understanding how this audit is going to help that when they're looking mainly at our mutual aid numbers.
Well, I believe they're going to look at,
A whole lot more than that.
they're looking at all the numbers, all the runs, all the, how many fires, how many times we're putting out fires.
I
in
know,
the
but if you're
city
just looking
and
at
outside.
numbers, how is that going to help?
Well, it could help.
I'm totally missing that. I'm sorry.
Any statistics I think the council receives about our operations is useful to decide.
To some degree, but I
are we
think,
going in the right
mainly
direction?
we're looking at how many times are we going into Inkster? How many times are they coming here or Westland? I do have another question though. So the mutual aid contracts, could we opt out of just one city or is it all or nothing?
I think it's all or nothing.
I think that's all,
It's all or
but
nothing.
I'm not positive.
Those are
It's up to
questions
the-
we'd want answers to.
It's up to the council to discuss. I would advise that in a situation of the numbers that we saw, if they weren't correct, then we should know what our numbers are. If they were correct, it's I'm not advocating opting out, but I think there's a conversation that needs to be had by these communities to say, we're not the ones that are going out 96 out of 100 times to every other city, and they come to us very few times. I think that's good information for us as overall, because we've, as any government and any company, we've been doing it this way just because we've been doing it this way. I think that's a conversation we have. If it's that skewed, if it's 50-50, we're good. I think we're all good, but we have to have that information done properly and report something like this in the direction of the charter saying you have to put operational reports together. But as I said, if there's another department that you guys want to go a different direction with, then we can discuss that tonight.
I think considering the size of Garden City compared to the size of Westland and Inkster and the other communities, there's no way it's going to come back 50-50.
Right.
We know that right off the bat. We're a lot smaller. They're not coming here to help us as much as we're going out there.
Right, Westland's 4 times larger than we are. Of course, we're going to help them more than they help us.
Which begs the question of their multi-million-dollar budgets well beyond the city. Does that make sense for our services to be leaving our city
I think
and then
it's a
having
gamble.
someone come in the back end to help us when we're here?
I think it would be closer to 50-50 than you'd expect.
Well, I think it goes back to the end result of this, is just going to be basically what we do with mutual aid. And I kind of feel that this is just kind of a perfunctory thing at this point to get the managerial audit out of the way. I personally would like to table this until we can talk to Plant Moran and get those questions answered for sure. I know it's just $10,000 in the grand scheme of thing. It's not 40 like the building department was. But before we decide that this is where we're going to focus our audit, I think that Plant Moran should be here to answer questions.
Also,
the council.
I think that this is a very important thing to do regardless, whether we had the managerial audit or not. Spending, like you said, $10,000, you didn't have to come to us. We could have just done this to do it.
Correct.
Because we need it, and then focus the managerial audit on something else that really needs it, that's more detailed. Like you said, if this is something that important, we should be doing it anyway.
Well, right now, the motion on the floor is to go with this managerial audit. So
Isn't it our job to call if we've got questions? Can't we call Plant Moran if we have questions and ask them if they come up?
To have them come speak to us.
No, I know that.
We're also supposed to have discussion during the meeting, so that's why we're discussing it now.
right. Well, right now, the motion is to move forward with this. If the maker and the supporter want to table it, then we can do that. Otherwise, we're going to vote on moving forward with it. So,
We table an awful lot of stuff, but I will revise to table it.
Thank you.
Councilmember Lynch.
I'll hold my motion. Second.
Okay. All right, I guess we'll have to, we have to vote on it,
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah.
All right, all in favor of tabling it?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Or a future meeting, not the next meeting for sure. Just
Right
Correct.
until you get a
to
hold of
make sure.
them.
Yep. Yes.
All right, table that and probably have to have a workshop or something.
We could
Okay,
just come to the next
other
meeting.
business, item 12. First, we need to have a motion to remove the DDA budget from being tabled.
Mayor,
Councilmember Earl.
I move to remove the discussion on the budget from the table.
Support from Councilmember Lynch. Any discussion on that from the general public? All in favor?
Aye.
7-0. Okay, other business, fiscal year 2023-24 general appropriations and tax levy
Mayor.
ordinance from DDA. Councilmember Earl.
I move to adopt the fiscal year 2023-2024 general appropriations and tax levy ordinance for the Downtown Development Authority.
Support.
Support from Councilmember Lynch. Any further comments from? the
Yes,
table?
Mayor. I did have a good conversation with the director, and he has talked to the company, which was our biggest concern. The company is willing to sit down and work with them so they're not draining all their funds to pay for this project. They are going to extend the payments out, which was my main concern, so I was satisfied with that. So I'm good with this now.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from general public? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Item 13, public comment for non-agenda items. You have 3 minutes, and it's not a time to go back and forth with council. Anybody from the public have a comment? Mr. Hunt.
At the last council meeting during council member discussion, there was an idea thrown out that we should extend hours for the building department because it inconveniences people to have to stay home for them to come out for inspection. There's not a city in this metro area that does not do 8 to 5 9 to 5, you only get a morning or an afternoon. It's the way it works. We extend this, well, go with this. You call a cable company up or your internet's down, call them, and they're gonna tell you, we'll be out sometime that day. You'll get a morning or an afternoon from the building department. If you change the hours to run the guys at whatever's convenient for a homeowner, you're gonna have inspectors out till 10 o'clock at night, trying to inspect a roof, trying to inspect a rough building in the dark. You got an awful lot of time out there where 5, 6 o'clock at night is dark out already. It's not gonna work. You're gonna extend an awful lot of wages out, a lot of overtime out, just to make it convenient for somebody, and we're gonna be paying more taxes for it. Nobody out there is doing it. There's no reason for it to even come up before you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, Council. I'm Kim Poma with the Garden City Public Library. We are in the midst of our summer reading. Things are going very well. I do want to announce that on Saturday, July 29th, we are having our end of summer reading bash from 1 to 4. We're going to have a lot of stuff for the kids. We're going to have a bounce house. We're going to have face painting. We're going to have hopefully a classic car show and vendors. I'm asking anybody at home who knows anyone with classic cars or has one they want to bring up, or anyone who's interested in doing a vendor spot. It is a $10 donation to the building fund for that, but they're set up from 1 to 4. And classic car show, we will be doing voting for the best one. If you do have any, if anyone's interested, they can contact the library, or they can email me at Paul, OMA, at gardencitylib.org. And if they do call the library, tell them to ask for Kim. Thank you very much.
Kim, what was that date again?
Saturday, July 29th. Yes. The last Saturday of the month.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? No further comments? Okay, city managers report.
All right, Mayor, I want to just go over, spend a couple minutes going over two different topics that I was asked to discuss. One was the library lawsuit settlement. It never was made public on what happened. So I have composed a detailed report, just final touches on that. I'll send that out to the council tomorrow with more details, but tonight I'll just give a quick recap. A year and a half after filing the lawsuit, the final settlement had about 5 major parts, as well as some additional connected outcomes. So number one, first of all, the library will reimburse the city $65,000 for past bills. $65,000 is $5,000 less than what the city asked for 2 years ago in the spring of 2021, and long before a lot of attorney bills. Number two, it is the library's responsibility to obtain and pay for retiree health care benefits for one of their one library retiree. The city stated all along that the city was not responsible for the library retiree, but as requested by the library, if the library ceases to exist 10 years from now, meaning the library doesn't receive the support of the vote of the residents and the library closes down, the employee is still living, the city will provide the cost of health care for the one library employee. That was an extra caveat that we put in, that we will take it on if this person still needs health care in the end, but it is the library's responsibility. Agreement 3 was that the city would authorize the library to obtain a credit card for their own bank account. According to Michigan state law, libraries are mandated to receive city's permission to receive a credit card. Number 4, the library may request a tax millage disbursement from the city only once per month. Now, when the city collects tax money for the county, the school district, the museums, and others, the city usually gives them all their money immediately. The library wants the city to hold their money, but can only ask for 1 check a month. Of course, if they wanted to, and I recommended, the city or the library could take all their money at one time, like everybody else. And then number 5 of the settlement was the city will hold the library building fund money in the city bank account until the library chooses to build a new library. So until the library decides to start building a new library one day, the city will keep the $5 million plus in the city bank, as it continues to increase. So in short, regarding the 2 main issues of past unpaid bills and retiree health care, the library lawsuit ended with the city being reimbursed the $65,000 in past bills, and the library is responsible for their retiree health care. There are 7 other additional issues not included in the lawsuit that came about that have been resolved, including number 1, there was a lot of questions to this. It is officially acknowledged the library is not a department of the city. It is an outside organization. So that was something that right from the start was an issue. Two, a new rental agreement was signed by the library with one set inclusive rental fee instead of different contracts and many rental costs. So we have it now down to a science of one fee, straight rental with the library. Three, the city canceled the fiscal agency agreement it had with the library. Four, the city also canceled the library employee retiree healthcare costs that were incorrectly charged to the city. Five, the city also moved library employees out of the city's pension fund division into their own division and closed the division to future library employees, thereby reducing the city's liability in the future. This actually was a very good decision overall because it actually ensured that the library's pension will be fully funded within 10 years. So if there is any close down of the library, the city is not responsible for any pension funds. They will be fully funded. So any employees retiring from the library would be pleased with that decision. Six, the city also removed unnecessary library ordinances from the city's code of ordinances. And seventh, the city removed liability from any confusion as to the relationship between the city and the library. The library is now recognized as a rental group and not intertwined with the city's administration, and any future responsibility should the library find itself in a future lawsuit has nothing to do with the city. So in the end, the city was correct in its assessment of the situation from the start. Unfortunately, it took 2 years for the case to end, with the library accepting almost the exact same offer that the city offered to them 2 years ago. So as I said, I put a more detailed report together that'll be sent out to the council sometime tomorrow, but at least that's first time publicly announcing what the settlement was, and that is public information, so it wasn't something extra. And I also wanted to mention Meals on Wheels. Really quick about that. So Meals on Wheels is a Wayne County program. It's managed by Wayne County employees and volunteers. The program actually has 80 meals on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. They deliver to homes throughout the area. Of the 80 meals, 30 of them go to residents in Westland. Apparently, a few years ago, Westland shut their facility down and joined up with Garden City. So 30 of them are over with us. The activity is a delivery program. So whereby a location used, bulk food is delivered to it, it's spliced out, and it's all delivered out of that facility to people's homes. Churches tend to house these kind of facilities, and the mayor and I are meeting with the department director this next week, and one of the things he talked about was finding more volunteers to help with this program. And we discussed usually at churches things are set up because now you've got more parishioners that may receive the food, but also you've got a lot more volunteers that may be interested in helping deliver. So since the city has been able to rent out the space at Maplewood Center, the center is gone from being a negative cost to the city to being a positive revenue generator. Now that it's able to rent out the final wing for a lot more youth programs and a revenue of $45,000 more per year, it did make sense for staff to find an for Meals on Wheels program to distribute their food. Before calling Wayne County to discuss the change, staff toured numerous locations to find the most accommodating place to Meals on Wheels program. After speaking with county representatives, the city was told right now they're looking in other cities, 4 locations, looking for new places they've been moved out from. Gardy was the only one that actually went out of their way to help try to find them a place to actually move to. The others, the First United Methodist Church, only a block east of Maplewood Center, couldn't be more pleasant, the people themselves, and accepting the Meals on Wheels program. Even more, to reduce the activities at the church, the city asked Wayne County to move the liquid nutrition program over to the city's food bank pantry. So unlike the Meals on Wheels program, which is 3 meals a week, the liquid nutrition ensure program, it's an entirely different group of 70 than the 50 from the food. And they drive to the location once a month, pick up, and then they go head home. And that certainly seems to be more of a program that's designed for pantry activity rather than at the church. So the county is very pleased, of course, to hear that we're willing to take that part on at the food pantry. Update that the group was moved on Thursday. Today was their first day over at the church. We sent staff all over throughout the day to check. There were no incidents, no issues. The Meals on Wheels program now has a location that they can send deliveries out from. The city can have more programming at Maplewood Center, as well as collect an additional $45,000 in rent to go to future maintenance. And it seems that all programs are settled where they can be settled at to the best opportunity that we can put out there. So that's just a quick follow-up on Meals on Wheels. And this last thing, just prayers with Tim Gibbons and his family. I spoke to him just before the meeting. Tim, for those that know him, of course, would recognize, and those that don't know him, Tim is just an old soul. It's like it's like he's been in your life forever when you meet Tim. So he's a wonderful guy. He did his best to keep his composure, talking to me earlier today and going through some troubled times. I was at Divine Child this morning. They had a mass for Owen and had to be 600-700 people. The church was packed with a lot of Divine Child, the kids, classmates, and the teams were out there. And he didn't tell anybody. I didn't know Liam was at the mass this morning, and they wanted to kind of just have him blend in with the kids. So Tim's other son, the younger brother, is back home, and so is Maeve. She had a dance class today, so they're trying to get some normal time for the kids. So it's a heartbreaking incident, but Tim and his family are wonderful, and we'll be there. The city is putting plans together for some activities and things, and everybody will know about it. And it's going to be a long road. So God bless the Gibbons family. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Earl had somewhere he had to go. He did want to say congratulations to all the retirees and new chief and new captain. Councilmember Karafotis.
I just have a couple of quick things. One, where are we with the master plan? Has the planning commission?
Planning Commission, step for the master plan. Are they reviewing it at this point? Do you
They
know?
still are reviewing.
Offhand?
Okay.
Part of that is in the 5 years to do a review and then make recommendations of additional changes or a complete revision.
That's what I'm asking. Have they started that at their meetings, or
It's not on this agenda. We have,
nothing's been started yet? Then?
correct. They had one review letter, I think 3 months ago, and they were looking at that. So.
And then I had a lot of people that were commenting the last couple of weeks about playground stuff. And I know last year we got that grant for City Park for all the stuff. When is that going to happen?
Currently going on right now. I was on the phone with Tennessee the other day. Apparently the state needed some additional changes made. The claim is that they made them. I believe our Parks and Recreation Director has been in contact with the state program. She's worked with them before. So at this point, it's just waiting for the go. I asked to bid out the equipment. They said the state says you cannot bid out anything until they get the final say, which makes no sense to me. Again, we can just tweak the bid if we needed to. So
And this is for new play equipment at Garden City Park, a new playground, right?
This is,
all the
yes.
other stuff's going to go, and we're going to get new stuff.
Yes, and that there are some changes to the entire pattern there that we're going to make some. It's going to be a beautiful destination playground. Yes, fully handicap accessible, also ADA compliant.
Do we anticipate that happening this year?
As soon as we can, if we got the okay. You're looking at the equipment. Also, I think is an issue that we've been hearing a lot about. Is the COVID still has destroyed the supply chain. So I would say for sure, again, probably by spring, we should be installing brand new installation.
And then one more question. I mentioned it about the grant that we applied for Helen Park. Did we ever find anything out about that? Because we did apply for a grant for that. So I didn't know whether we were denied or we.
I'm not sure if the Parks and Rec was. I'll get back to council. I'll report back to
Okay. And
council
then
on that one.
I also want to say about this Saturday is the Garden to Garden Walk. It's from 10 to 3. You can get your tickets at Barson's. It includes lunch, and you can come to the vendor show for the Garden Club. You can come to the Garden City bouquet contest, which now has a section for kids under 16. They can enter the contest, and then for adults, and then all the proceeds go to a $1,000 scholarship for a Garden City high school student. That's what the Garden Club does with those funds that we raise.
Councilmember Squires.
Yes, just congratulations to Kathy Harmon and Martha Griggs on their retirement. And to our new fire chief, Randy Keene and Captain Dan Nault. Congratulations. I know you'll do a great job. And that's about all I have right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Dole.
Going to say it again. Congratulations to Kathy. We're going to miss her a lot. But I'm sure that our new fire chief, Keene, will do his best to fill those shoes. So congratulations to Martha Griggs and also Captain Dan. And just let the Gibbons family know that my heart cries for them. It really does. And we pray that everything will somehow work out to be okay.
Thank you. Councilmember Lynch.
I too wanted to send my congratulations on both retirements for both Chief Kathy and for Martha Griggs. Martha does a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Kathy does a lot of stuff in front of the scenes, and they're both very integral to the city of Garden City. And congratulations to Captain Dan Knoll. I've known him for a long time, and he's now the captain. That's great news. And Chief Randy Keene, he'll do an outstanding job. And to the Gibbons family, I'm very close with part of the Gibbons family. I worked with Brenda, and I know Tim, and Young was only in 8th grade when I started working over at St. Rayfield School. And our hearts just go out to that family. Anything that we can do, they know that all they have to do is ask, and any one of us will help them out in any way we can. So prayers for them. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Witt.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. My thoughts and prayers with the Gibbons family as well. Hopefully everything can go smooth. A congratulations on all of our recognition tonight, the 2 retirements and the 2 swearing-ins. Good luck in retirement to the 2 retirements, and welcome into our new swearing-ins. And we hope you guys do a wonderful job and keep the city moving forward. And then Wednesday, July 19th is Movies in the Park. It will be on the north side of the parking lot by the baseball fields. It is Matilda, and the show starts at dusk. The Garden City Hockey Association will be doing a fundraiser with the snacks. And then King Cone will be donating free ice cream again. I'm going to be helping pass out as well. So I will be there. Come up, say hi, get some free ice cream, donate to the Garden City Hockey Association, and watch a great movie. That's all.
Okay. You said that is at City Park, right? I think
Yes,
you said
City Park.
Next to the ball field. but-
Yep, to the north side of the parking lot where the 4 ball diamonds are, or 5.
At City Park. Okay.
By the big green barn.
Yep.
Look for the blow-up screen.
Yeah.
Dead giveaway. Mr. Miller.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Okay. I just gonna repeat a lot. Congratulations to everybody and to the Gibbons family, thoughts and prayers. And no further business. This meeting is adjourned.
Tom texted